In the spring of 1925, 5 of the richest scrap metal dealers in France received a letter on official government stationery. The Eiffel Tower, it said, was coming down, and it was for sale. The man behind the letter was not from the government. He was a con artist. And in the next 30 days, he would pull off what many call the greatest scam in history. And here is the part nobody believes. He got away with it so cleanly, so completely, that a few months later, he came back to Paris. And he sold the Eiffel Tower again. Stay to the end, because how they finally caught him is the best twist of all. Every great con hides inside a true story. Here is the truth this one used. The Eiffel Tower was never meant to be permanent. It was built in 1889 as a temporary exhibit for the World's Fair, with a 20-year permit. By 1925, it was rusting badly, expensive to maintain, and Parisian newspapers were openly debating whether the city should just tear it down. One morning in a Paris cafe, a man read one of those articles. And where everyone else saw a news story, he saw a product. All he needed was official stationery, a hotel suite, and 5 greedy men. His name, this month at least, was Count Victor Lustig. There was no such count. There was barely such a man. He used 47 names in his career and carried a different life story for each one. He spoke 5 languages. He had spent years working the great ocean liners between Paris and New York, selling first-class passengers a machine that printed perfect $100 bills. It did print 2 or 3, which he had loaded inside. By the time the buyers realized it printed nothing else, the ship had docked, and the Count was gone. He even wrote rules for his craft. Be a patient listener. Never look bored. Let the other man reveal his politics, then agree with him. Never be untidy. And never, ever get drunk. This was not a thief. This was a professional. Back to Paris, 1925. Lustig had fake letterhead printed for the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs and rented a suite at the Hôtel de Crillon, the most respectable address in the city. Then, he invited the 5 scrap dealers to a confidential meeting. The pitch was a masterpiece. The tower is coming down, gentlemen, but the government fears public outrage. So the sale must stay absolutely secret. 7,000 tons of iron to the highest bidder. And then he watched. Not the bids. The men. He was not looking for the highest offer. He was looking for the weakest ego. He found André Poisson. New money. Desperate to matter in Paris society, hungry to prove himself with one big deal. When Poisson hesitated, Lustig leaned in and quietly asked for a bribe. Because nothing says real government official like a corrupt one. Poisson relaxed and paid both.
Within hours, Lustig was on a train to Vienna with a suitcase of cash, watching the newspapers for the explosion. The fraud of the century. The manhunt. It never came.
Nothing. Silence. Poisson was so humiliated at being fooled that he never told the police. He ate the loss and kept the secret, which gave Lustig an idea so audacious it barely sounds human. If the con leaves no trace, why not run it again?
Months later, he returned to Paris, gathered 5 new scrap dealers, and sold the Eiffel Tower a second time. This buyer went to the police, but Lustig had already vanished with the money. 2 sales. 0 convictions. 1 tower, never his to sell.
You would think a wise man stops there. Lustig sailed for America and decided to test his talent on the most dangerous mark alive. Al Capone. He asked Capone for $50,000 to double in 60 days. Then he simply put the money in a vault, waited 2 months, and handed every dollar back. Sorry, the deal fell through.
Capone was so impressed by this display of honesty from the one man in America who had not tried to steal from him that he handed Lustig $5,000 for his trouble. which was the plan all along. He conned Capone with integrity.
What finally broke him was not a mark, and not the police being clever. It was scale. Lustig built a counterfeiting operation so large that fake bills flooded American banks, and the Secret Service made him their obsession. In 1935, they caught him in New York, betrayed by a jealous girlfriend, carrying a key to a locker full of printing plates. The day before his trial, he cut bedsheets into a rope and climbed out of a federal jail in broad daylight, waving at pedestrians and pretending to be a window washer. It took a month to catch him again. This time they sent him where no one talks their way out. Alcatraz. The man who sold the Eiffel Tower spent his last years in the most escape-proof cage in America and died in 1947. On his death certificate under occupation, someone wrote, "Apprentice salesman." Here is the uncomfortable truth hiding in this story. Lustig never stole anything. Every single victim handed him the money, smiling. He did not sell a tower or a money machine. He sold people their own greed, wrapped in a story they wanted to believe. And that playbook never went to Alcatraz. It is alive right now in your inbox, in fake investment schemes and too-good-to-be-true deals.
The tools changed.
The con is the same. The best defense is knowing the story. If this one got you, subscribe because there are more impossible true stories where this came from, and I am telling them one by one. And remember the Count's favorite rule. If a deal needs to stay secret to stay real, it was never real.